Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to an exciting winners bracket semi-final match of the 2025 Hybrid Major Glitches tournament. And this is actually game 2. Skele took the first round, and looking back on the record, Skele is actually undefeated in this tournament, which is extremely impressive. There's a very long list of good runners that are in this tournament, and it looks like we're getting started. Bombs in Link's house, and just a heart container in the sanctuary. Skele showing us a green pendant Hera and pendant Eastern, I believe that was, on the map check. And confirmed by Bread also doing a map check. Okay, so Bread-kun with the uncle start, just very non-traditional for this mode. We get a bottle with a fairy in it. Now, the question is, will Bread remember there's a fairy in the bottle the next time they want to death warp? Alright, Skele with an early Lost Woods play. This is a lot more traditional than the uncle start. Half magic in the thieves' hideout. Very nice item to have. Looks like just a red rupee on the island today, so we're not going to go get that. Glove in the mushroom location in the Lost Woods. Bread-kun going to Sahasrala's. Bo and Samaria in the back of Sahasrala, and I missed what was on the lumberjack ledge, unfortunately. But Eastern being a pendant, Bread decides to save and quit. So lumberjack, Death Mountain, Ascent over DMA from Skele. Just a heart piece inside Spectacle Rock Cave. Alright, it looks like Bread is going to follow the Lost Woods loop and probably go up the mountain. So let's try and pay attention if Bread checks the lumberjack. No Skele rescuing the old man. Very riveting darkroom gameplay. Sword off of the old man. Very nice. Alright, Skele with the graveyard ledge descent. Okay, just bombs on the lumberjack, so nothing important. The blue mail in graveyard ledge. Skele decides to grab it. And Skele did correct the camera, so we can check back of escape here without getting a Houlihan. Alright, small key in the back is interesting. More potential value in the front of the castle. South Shore play from Skele. Meanwhile, Bread just rescuing the old man. Just 50 rupees inside the dam. Very nice use of... never mind. Right, oh, but we have the ferry. I already forgot. Yeah, that's the thing about getting a fairy in a bottle. You always forget. Anyways, that was interesting use of Samaria to block the dead rock. Well, Red is not going to have to worry about an interrupted death warp. Mahira DMA. Blue Boomerang for Skelly. And a Moon Pearl in Mini Moldorm Cave. Meanwhile, we see Bread has found one of the items in here. So we have an item and a compass. So we are locked out. The one item still in the dungeon. We're going to need either the hook shot and or the Meyer big key to solve the rest of that dungeon. Alright, Skelly going to town. Red going for 50 rupees on the floating island. Alright, Bread in Spiral Cave. Skelly gets a shuffle in the back of Blind's hut. Nice 300 for Bread in Spiral Cave. Alright, hookshot in the well on Skelly's side. And the Canaburna. And nothing in Paradox so far for Bread, just a few more rupees. Combos in the Paradox 5 room. And just a few more rupees. Mushroom for Skelly in the chicken hut. Alright, back escape for Bread, but we know there was nothing here. Looks like Bread wants to continue to Dark Cross. Or never mind, we're changing our minds. I was gonna say it's, if anyone's interested, it's not actually in logic without either the fire rod or the lamp. But, I mean, obviously we could check that if we want, but it's a lot of work for what could potentially just be a map, so I agree with not checking it for now. Skele going down to desert. Red also gets the blue mail in Graveyard Ledge. Alright, Brad doing a Houlihan. Probably thinking about Zora. unfortunately missed what was in the second check in desert. I don't think it was anything important, but I try to remember what items are in the dungeon. Was Skele not checking the big chest? That seems like a mistake. I could be wrong, but I think there's no way that... So if Skele got an item in the top room after getting the key off the torch, that would be one item, then a map and a big key. Well, regardless, we're moving on. Our container in Agina's. A small key, rupees, map, big key, confirmed by our tracker. So, the second item could have been in the big chest, but I'm gonna have to say that's a mistake. I mean, it is a long way out of the way to go back to that, but... There's no guarantee that it was not the second item in the dungeon, though. The red mail in checkerboard, and we're gonna leave that behind. So Skele is clipping again, so... Okay, going back for the flute location check with the shovel. And Bread not going for Zora, at least not yet. Or not at all, we are going to the Dark World. Although this health really sucks for doing what Bread is about to do. Because you have to bomb clip out of here, and there's also... Oh, this looks like pretty friendly RNG, actually. Very frequently you get some of those, like, flyers that can do a good amount of damage, like trolling you while you're trying to do this bomb clip. Alright, so Skele saves and quits out of King's Tomb. We have a pendant Skullwoods, it looks like. Alright, Hype Cave for Bread, nothing so far. And nothing but trash. And Skele also gets the news that we have one junk item and a compass, and we're locked out of Hera. But could climb with the hook shot, but decides against it. Maybe because it's a pendant, and there's no guarantee of it getting the second item. Alright. Dark World DMD on Skele's side, so doing a north Dark World start as opposed to Bread starting on the south side. Just a shovel on the bumper ledge. On Bread's side, we're clipping to get into the mire area. Alright, Skele going for Skullwoods even though it's a pendant. Two items in here. We probably can get one of them. At least one of them, I should say. Nothing in Mire Shed for Bread. Skele gets the big key in Skullwoods in the vanilla big key location. Okay, and Bombos for Mire entry is interesting, because we have that. Okay, just a Big 20 on the dig games, and Bread decides to leave that behind. A mirror in the brewery for Bread, and I don't think Skele's found anything yet. Oh, heart containers, that's at least one item. But we're continuing, so I assume that means we only got one item. But Bread immediately using the mirror and deciding to check out Kakariko because Bread has not done that yet. Going to get a shovel, a hookshot, and a mushroom. I don't think there was anything else here. Alright, Skele also in the village now, but the Dark World village, though. Nothing in Sea House today. Alright, Thieves Town for Skele. Heart container in the first chest, so that's 1 out of 4 items. I'm curious how far Skele is going to go in the dungeon. Okay, red rupee is our second item. So we have a small key, but we do not have the hammer. There is a somewhat decent chance that there's just a map or compass in the big chest. Alright, sick kid. We hadn't seen that yet, but it was nothing. Red draining magic with the Cane of Burna, setting up a fake powder. Okay, third item in the attic, just another 20 rupees. So 2 out of 3 chance that we don't need the big chest, or that there's not an item, I should say. Okay, a compass in the maiden cell, so 50-50 if we're leaving an item or not. Ice rod in the chest game on Bread's side. And Bread also going into Thieves Town, so if there is an item, looks like they're both. Well, I don't know. We'll see how far Bread goes. If he completes the dungeon, then. Alright, never mind. So there were 3 red rupees, and one of them was on the boss. So the map is in the big chest, and we are not punished for doing this dungeon without the hammer. That also is our first crystal. 19-minute first crystal for Skele. Also picking up his ice rod at the chest game. About to get his mirror as well in the brewery. And Bread also looking to complete the dungeon. So Skele continuing south in the Dark World. I'm curious what Skele decides to do with Meyer. Although actually Skele can't enter, never mind, because Bombos was in Paradox Cave and Skele did not do that side of the mountain yet, so never mind. Getting a very slight time save, having the mirror to do this room. While our runners are covering each other's steps, this would be a good time to say, please follow the runners. They're doing a great job putting on this show, and once again, Skele is undefeated in this tournament, so, I mean, that alone is worth following, right? Alright, Skele going into Hype Cave, but we know nothing is there today. Alright, Skele doing a funny auto-walk thing, also known as a FOT, that is the official name, to skip the hammer pegs. And setting up a swim clip to check the Pyramid Fairy. Red picking up his first crystal at 22 minutes. Nice blue potion on the ledge. We really like blue potions in this mode. They allow us to do the fake flutes, which is an overworld YBA that lets us flute in the Dark World. A mitts inside the Pyramid Fairy. And Bread-kun saving and quitting after spying the bumper ledge. Gonna save a little bit of time by not investigating Skullwoods. Skele does decide to pick up the bottle, and about to get a second bottle on the uncle. Alright, Bread in Hera. This time with the hook shot. Okay, showing us a bomb Hera pot. So we know there's one item left in the dungeon, but we don't know where it is. And never mind, we're just stealing that key and going straight to Swamp. It was quite conveniently placed for that. And Skele going inside the castle. This is new information. Just a 20 in the map chest. So that's 3 of our items, because we know 2 items and the key were in the back. A heart container in the boomerang chest. Oh, I missed what was in the swamp chest on Bread's side. A bomb's in the first check of swamp, and Bread did remember to open the door, which is something that has been forgotten before by runners. A map in Zelda's cell confirms there is an item in Darkcross, and Skele's going for it. We get TR climb from Bread right now. A little bit of trouble. Alright, crossing the mountain to go to Hookshot Cave. Oh, nothing in Hookshot Cave. Ether and Darkcross. Right. Rupees and arrows in Super Bunny on Bread's side. Alright, Skele back in Hera. Here's what Skele decides to do. If Skele wants to try to dig out this other item or possibly get the green pendant. A catfish, a DMD on Bread's side. With the holding the sword out, kind of rarely seen. And it looks like Skele is going for Moldorm. Nice sword on the catfish today. Bread mirroring. Setting up a splash delete as well. Unsuccessful, unfortunately. Alright, successful on the second attempt. Well, this is not in logic, by the way, if anyone's curious, even though this is a glitched mode. Or no, actually it is, I'm sorry. Kick flippers are in logic. My mistake. I think water walking is like the more normal way to do it, though. Alright, but there was nothing in the waterfall regardless, so Zora today, just 10 arrows. And Bread decides to take it as a refill. Alright, Skele doing the east side of the mountain. I think Bombos was the only thing of value over here, but that is very important for the seed, because it is the Meyer medallion. Right now it actually also helps with Ice Palace. Not that we want to go there without the hammer, but this could be a situation where the Fire Rod is deep in the seed or potentially a go mode item. Missed what happened to Bread. Maybe an accidental soft lock. Alright, Skele using the mitts that we found. Sure. You know, never a required item in this mode, but they can be very nice to have. Bread-kun decides to pick up the red mail in Checkerboard Cave. Nothing wrong with that, it's just not a commonly seen decision amongst runners, at least in my experience. Alright, so I'm curious if Bread is going to open the big chest in Desert, because that was left behind earlier by Skele for unknown reasons. Actually, forgot my notepad. I mean to write down my questions to be better at interviewing people, but I forgot to today. That is something I'm really curious about, Skele's decision to leave after doing the right side of Desert. Alright, Skele also getting a nice sword upgrade off of the catfish. Other Tom in chat voicing some potential displeasure if both of them skip the big chest. Alright, Bread-kun using the mirror, which we definitely didn't have on Skele's side the first time we were here. Going back for the big chest. Okay, just the compass, so item is on the boss, so Skele not punished for skipping that. I'm really curious where these runners decide to go next. Both saving and quitting at the same time. Bread-kun out of Agina, Skele out of Zora. Both starting on the mountain. Alright, Skele going for a pod play, and I expected this sooner or later. Even though we don't have the bow on. Oh, okay, they're both going for pod, never mind. So, Skele, not having the bow, which was in Sahasrara's, may or may not be relevant. But Skele does know how to basement clip. If we find the lamp here, I don't know if Bread knows how to basement clip, but with the amount of basement clips that we've seen in this tournament, I think it's worth mentioning at least. Because that will allow us to skip the hammer and the bow requirement of this dungeon, just for the sake of avoiding a double dip. I'd imagine Skele... Okay, never mind, there's a bow here. I was about to say, Skele's probably going to mirror after checking out Pod and get the bow from Sahasrara, but never mind, we're just getting a bow in Pod. A very nice hover, by the way. I get sucked into the door. Those auto doors love to suck you in, so that was kind of amusing. A book on the right side. Unfortunate since we already were in the desert area. So that's... And we also checked the shovel and checkerboard cave, so there's really nothing else over there. I mean, they could check that when they go back for Landmo, if they need to. The ether on the mountain, we can do that anytime. That's not nearly as inconvenient as in a non-glitched mode. Not too slow to check it if you just do a Hera clip and then super speed over there. Alright, big key in the rupee basement. Still no sign of a lamp. And we checked all the rooms that weren't dark, so no basement clip, at least not this time. Yep, and compass in the dark maze, that's kind of annoying. Flippers in the big chest. Okay, that was one of the things that we needed for go mode. A swamp being a crystal, this seed. And as predicted, Skele mirroring to check Sahasrara afterwards. I'm gonna get the Cane of Samaria here and silver arrows. Skele leaving. Okay, clipping to go to the potion shop. Alright, just a bug net on the magic powder location today. And Skele's not even going to bother picking it up. Bread-kun back in the dark world on the south side. Alright, heading to clear out swamp with our newly acquired flippers. And remembering that he has the mirror. Oh, that is a very unfortunate dead rock location for Skele. Actually on the bridge. I was just saying how this doesn't take that long to check, but of course Skele gets punished. And it's just a piece of heart today. Alright, bread in swamp. We got at least one item, and there was bombs in the first check. Alright, so Skele also going to unlock Swamp using the Hera key. And for those that are curious, that's not actually in logic to use the Hera key, but It is something most people will do, given the opportunity, because it's so much simpler than coming in from Mire. Alright, compass in the compass location in Swamp. The Bread just deciding to head to the back. Yeah, so we get a small key, a piece of heart in the flooded room. A diver down area, however you want to call that. And a fire rod in the next check after that. Okay, that was another of the go mode items that we needed. And it looks like hammer. I want to say hammer is the only thing we need. Unless I'm forgetting something. I think that's it. I need hammer for ice. And it helps for pod too. Not required in this mode, but no one is basement clipping in the dark, I don't think. Alright, nice silver arrow shot on Bread's side. Finish off the boss, and we get our third bottle. Well, second for Bread, so the third that we know about. Alright, so I'm curious if Bread is gonna leave everything else behind in Swamp. I mean, because Hammer could be there. It's just not, you know, like no glitches. The logic doesn't care if we have the hammer or not. Alright, Bombo's tablet for Bread. And it is the Quake medallion, which is slightly amusing. And it looks like Bread, continuing on, is going to do a Mire Desert combo. Skele also finding the fire rod in the back of Swamp. Okay, back of Desert for Bread while Skele finishes up Swamp. Also getting the one-shot silver arrow, very nice. A very nice one cycle from Bread, and unfortunately just the uncle's bombs. But we do get a crystal. Good. Alright, Skele also going to the Mire area. It looks like both are converging on Meyer. Yeah, cooking some bird. Oh, for those coming in late, all we need for go mode on both sides is the hammer. We need that for Ice Palace and Palace of Darkness. Well, not actually needed for pod, but doing the basement clip without the lamp is not a thing that's realistic to do. And the hammer is definitely more important than the lamp, so I'd say both runners definitely want to find that. We also don't know where the GT big key is, so that could also be hammer locked. See the Meyer big key on the left side. And if I recall the logic correctly, that means the other one has to be a small key, so we can skip that cutscene chest. I don't think we've seen a single item yet in this mire. Okay, there's a 20 rupees. Bread getting angry and burning some walls. Nope, just kidding. We were setting up a fake powder to get full health for this dark basement. Yes, that's correct. We do need the hammer. So we need it. It's hard required for ice, and we also don't know what the location of the GT big key is, if it's on the left side or not. It's possible to beat pod without the hammer, but not having a light source, the basement clipping is not going to be a thing that happens. It's just way too many adjustments do, even using the fire rod. I don't think it's realistic. But in this mode, there is no legal way to skip the hammer requirement for Ice Palace. And so Bread is slightly ahead, having Desert already done. Is hate to call out our tracker, but I think there's been a slight mistake. That Eastern is actually the pendant. Alright, so both having a very, very easy fight with Vitreous, thanks to our silver arrows. I'd imagine Skele is going to finish Desert here. Curious what Bread decides to do next. Alright, so Skele, as predicted, going to the back of desert. Bread-kun checking ether, but we know this is nothing. Going to have to make a decision here, if he hasn't already. Into the dark world. Alright, TR climb. Alright, this makes sense. This is a crystal that we can do. And it looks like we're going in the front, which I guess if you're planning to full clear anyway, doesn't really, I don't know, it's debatable. In a situation like this, I think going in the front is probably fine, especially if you want to leave afterwards. It makes it easier. Although having the mirror, we actually could have left anyway, even with the door closed, but a big key has to be somewhere in the front or the middle due to logic. Interesting Samaria kick from Bread. I'm not sure if that actually works. Like, assuming that you aim it a little bit better. Alright, Skele also into the dark world. That's an unfortunate soft lock. So if anyone's trying to learn this at home, you cannot press the up button when you're doing that TR climb, because it collision kicks you the wrong way. I was wondering if Bread was coming back for this. It looked like he was skipping it for a second, but then came back for the right side. Alright, big key. It's kind of its usual spot in this mode, just to spite people that want to enter from the back. Although it can be anywhere up to the vanilla big key location. Alright, Skele also entering in the front. So he agrees with Bread, and I do understand the reasoning. If you're going to full clear the dungeon anyway, doesn't really hurt. I mean, there are arguments to be made about the medallion animation, but, yeah, I'm not sure if it really matters. I usually just start at the back, because we have the mirror anyway, but I don't know, we'll see what they decide to do after here, because it does make leaving a little bit easier. And Bread skipping over the middle portion for now. And so far we've found nothing but junk in here. Oh, I think I understand what Bread's doing. So my theory, and this makes sense, is that they're saving the middle for last because the big chest is really awkward in this mode because you lose your mirror like warp. So it's just a really awkward check in HMG, and this way we can also... I don't know, sorry, I was thinking something incorrect, but it makes sense to save the big chest for last. Because going outside makes us lose our, our warp to where we started. And maybe Bread was just banking on the hammer being back here and saving a bit of time. Well, it makes even more sense if you're doing Mimic Cave, but that's not going to be a thing in this siege. With a hammer go mode. And just 20 rupees on the boss, but we do get a crystal. And to answer a question in chat, I don't know the best way of routing TR. It's just really awkward when you have so many options of entry, and I don't think it's something that has been commonly agreed upon in the community. Like the best way to route. And I'm gonna have to say that since we didn't, well, I don't know. I don't know if opening the front is really worth it. If you already have the mirror, because the mirror also lets us get out. But not having the hammer, though, we can't use the portal on top. There's too many what-ifs. So we're getting a GT play from Bread here. Okay, so I think what it was, they both started in the front because of not wanting to leave behind the big chest, which is very commonly left behind in this mode. Alright, nice tempered for Bread in the Hope Room. The Skele showing some interesting ice rod strats with the switch. Not mistaken, he may have learned that from one of his friends, maybe Telethar. Not sure who started doing that first. And to answer another question in chat, yes, we are trapped in GT. Even if you try to mirror while standing outside, it doesn't match up with any standable terrain on the outside. It puts you in the wall in Hera. Door only opens if you have all the crystals, obviously. So, maybe not trapped, but we're trapped if we don't get the big key, because you can get out by going through the dungeon and warping to the pyramid. But technically, that's a way out if we have the big key. Which we do have the big key in the compass room. Alright, Skele taking down Trinex. Bread grabs a small key and saves and quits. I'm assuming that they know, based on key logic, that the hammer can't be in the big chest or behind Ice Armos. I don't know if anyone wants to correct me on that, or if anyone wants to confirm or deny that, but that seems like a logical reason to me why he would leave. Although not climbing... I mean, I guess you could do it later, but since I don't actually know the GT logic, I would climb because there's items there, and it's required to climb anyway at some point. Now, also, I'm not sure if Bread actually checked this torch item, which is nothing. Okay, so Bread set up an offset mirror portal. Which is going to get him mitts in the Pyramid Fairy location. is something kind of been glossed over. The MITs do put things like the Smiths in logic that we don't want to do. And a good portion of Ice Palace potentially could have the hammer. There's one item in Skull Woods that we've not seen. Eastern Palace has not been seen at all. That's a potential hammer location. I believe this is rolled. You know what? Let me check the race room if I can see the seed link. I can't actually see it, but it's rolled by Sahasrabot. I don't think that it's the door branch. Alright, Bread is rescuing Smith. Now, HMG does not change the small key logic in the dungeons, so if you are saying that's correct normally, it should be correct in this case, and I appreciate the information. So, at both leaving, presumably they know the hammer can't be there. They will have to climb GT at some point, but they can save it for last, since it puts you right at Ganon. Alright, Bread-kun with the purple chest. Very exciting stuff. The Skele with a swim clip to Ice Rock Cave. Pretty sure we saw this on Bread. No, actually, no, I don't think we've seen this at all. Because Bread, both of them check Zora via Catfish. So we get the magic powder in Ice Rod Cave. It looks like Bread is also going to Ice Rod Cave. Alright, and Skele going to turn in the powder, but unfortunately we know this is not going to be any... Oh, never mind. Just kidding. Although, maybe he wants to do it from the Dark World. But Bread already checked Sick Kid and Magic Bat via fake powder. And we're getting an Ice Palace play from Bread. Okay, so Skele comboing the Smith with the Magic Bat check. Bread about to show us our first item, or potential item, in Ice Palace. It's just a small key. And I agree with stealing the key for this hammerless icebreaker route, because we didn't know that we were going to get a small key in the Pengator room. Alright, Brett having a little trouble with this icebreaker, but gets it, and gets our fourth sword. That is item number 1 for Ice Palace. Tape is our second item. Looks like Bread unfortunately got one of the bad versions of the stair clip, but I do respect the effort. And Big Key and Iced Tea. Okay, so there's a 1 in 3 chance that this big chest is actually going to be an item. And Skele going for Eastern. It is the hammer in the Ice Palace big chest. Wow, that is very, very unfortunate for... Well, it's unfortunate for Skele, but it's a rude location in general. It's a 105 go mode for Bread. Well, that affirmatively puts Bread-kun in the driver's seat here. Skele is up a game, so assuming Bread, doesn't have a disaster, there will be a game 3. And also, for those coming in late, I was saying earlier that Skele is actually undefeated in this entire tournament, and this is the semi-finals of the winner's bracket. So it's been a really impressive showing so far. Bread perhaps going to be the first one to actually take a game from Skele. Alright, Skele finds the third item in Eastern, and of course they're all junk, but Skele of course didn't know that. Saves and quits. And with pretty much nothing left to check. In fact, I think there is... apart from Skull Woods, I don't think Skele even has any other locations they can check, so... Heading into Ice Palace now. And Skele did already get one item out of Skull Woods, so it's particularly unappealing. Skele, of course, doesn't know yet that the hammer's here. Bread having some fun with some turtles. And yes, for those that did miss it, the hammer was in the Ice Palace big chest after the big key was in Iced Tea. It was just overall very rude. Alright, nice icebreaker from Skele, and nice Helm Sword kill from Bread. Alright, so just a GT climb from Bread, and then a Ganon kill, and that's all we have to do. Skele remembering that we have a green potion from Argus. Okay, Bread into the spike pit, and Skele getting the bad news that the hammer was here. Although they did only have one other location in the game, so that's definitely it feels bad. Okay, Gauntlet for Bread. Skele taking down Cold Stare. Alright, nice one cycle with the silver arrows from Bread on land mode 2. Skele returning to pod. Bread not even bothering to open anything, which makes sense. We don't need to, but I'd like to see the lamp up here or something just for, you know, just for comedic value. That Bread is not opening anything. We're just going to the end. Alright, I got to everyone's favorite. Let's see how we do here. Okay. Unfortunate first round. I think that was 1 and 1. 1113. Looked like Bread wasn't sure if they wanted to go for the clape. You definitely want to walk to the corner immediately if you are going to go for it. But for those that don't know, you can clip out of bounds and skip the back cutscene. It saves a few seconds. Alright, Skele taking down Helmasaur, Bread dropping into Ganon. Has red mail, so isn't going to get... Okay, never mind. We're using the cape. We're taking absolutely no chances here. I'm gonna say we won't get one shot because we have red mail, but Alright, very simple, first 2 rounds with Gold Sword and the cape. Alright, Skele starting the GT climb with Bread. 1 arrow in Ganon, needs a few more, 3 to be exact. Alright, so Bread just has to cross the gap, and we'll be the winner of tonight's race. Let's get our GGs in chat for Bread-kun. Gonna be the winner of tonight's race with an official time of 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 57 seconds. Has decided to forfeit. It's understandable. Skele has probably climbed Ganon's tower hundreds of times, if not thousands, so I definitely wouldn't do it again. Should be getting an interview here shortly. We are joined by the winner of tonight's race, Bread-kun. Congratulations.
Yeah, GG's. Yeah, hard gamble paid off, I guess. Is what this comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, by that point, everything you had left was pretty terrible.
Like, I had a couple one-off tier 1s, like, oh, King's Tomb, oh, Hobo, or yeah, Under the Bridge. But, like, I was like, okay, well, if it's in one of these locations, I'm pretty sure Skele already got it. So let's think of the more terrible locations that I could potentially go to.
Yeah, Skele, I think, actually only had one other location in the entire game when they got the hammer. I think, assuming... I think there was another item in Skullwoods, because Skele actually went there early and got one of the items out. So, yeah. And we are joined by Skele as well. GG.
Yep. GG's.
So was I correct that you only had Skullwoods left when you went to ice? That was the only thing?
I had a couple others, but they were not any better than that. I still had an item in Hera. I don't know if it was basement or big chest, but that was not going to happen ever, because I would have had to
I
go
forgot
back to
about
Mire
that.
or something. Yeah, and then left side swamp. I didn't do that either. I guess
I
technically
totally
Ped was in
forgot you
logic,
guys.
so or actually no, Ped was lamp locked, but apparently the lamp just doesn't exist, so I guess that doesn't matter.
At this point, I'm almost tempted to go back in and just check like left side GT or something. I feel like that's probably where Lamp is.
Yeah.
Could have been at the top as well. I was hoping you would
Yeah.
open some stuff at the top just to show us. The lamp likes to show up there in this mode, I feel like.
Yeah, true. Because you get some Pearl Sphere 1, Mirror Sphere 2, that get you mitts, and then nothing really stopping you from just going through ice and getting the big chest, so... yeah, Hammer is technically super low sphere. But obviously a location you'd never want to go to, ever.
I guess that's
Oh, it
true.
was
You only needed the
horrible.
bits. That's funny.
The big key in Ice T to hammer Ice Big Chest is... Yeah, that's pretty rude.
Don't even need the pearl, technically. Just mitts.
Yeah, sadly, the fire rods, you have to have the bombos to get that. I forget where bombos is. And a fire rod's not in logically to get that hammer at this point, but
Yeah.
I forget where it was. Somewhere early-ish. But yeah, it was super early because I did mini Moldorm Cave, so it was Carbo early.
Oh, the Pearl was Mini Moldorm, Bombos was Paradox 5, and Fire Rod was...
Fire Rod was in Swamp.
Swamp, yeah.
Which is
the
lamp
logic
locked.
the logic doesn't expect you to have Fire Rod or Bombos for ice entry though, so
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess I'm not sure. I forget the logic of getting to big chest, I guess. But or with
you don't have to kill any Freezors to get it, so
oh yeah, okay. Never mind. So you don't need anything. You just run in with mitts.
Yeah, I think so. As long as the big key is also free, which
it
as
was
circuitous as it
ICT.
is, yeah, that is also free, I guess.
So Skele, I was going to ask you, when you did Desert, you decided to leave after getting the big key on the right side. Was that intentional, or?
Yeah, I don't think I could do anything else. Well, I mean, I could have checked big chest, but at that point it was 50-50 if the item was on Landmo. So I figured I would just wait till I kill Landmo and hopefully he drops the item, and if my progression's in big chest, then I'll just be sad.
Okay, so it was an intentional gamble for time save. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before, so I was questioning if it was a mistake or if it was an intentional gamble, because that was... like I said, I just don't think I've seen anyone do that before. It was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't used to do that, but now I think it's good. It's really annoying to go back to big chests, and if it's 50-50, if there's even an item there, that just makes me really not want to do it. Obviously,
Yeah,
it can bite pretty badly, but at least if Desert's a crystal, I've been going for that lately.
And it is
yeah,
a bit
I would
of
normally
a
make the same. I'd normally make the same gamble, but I had mirror by the time I went to desert, so I'm like, I guess I may as well just go grab it. It's not that long at this point.
Oh yeah,
Just
with mirror
mirror
that
and
makes
run
it a lot
back.
better.
So, I think the big difference here, obviously, Bread not going to Eastern was probably the biggest thing, but Bread also didn't go to Skullwoods at all and didn't get a lot of those overworld one-offs that you did, Skelly, so that is kind of what made the difference in the time, which, I mean, considering you cleared most of the seed, you weren't that far behind. It just was... Well, it was just Eastern versus Ice at that point, because when you guys split up, because you guys were together for a good portion of the middle of the seed, and at that point, that was like the deciding thing. Because we didn't know where Hammer was, but I think it was well played by both of you. That it was a really good race.
Yeah, it is what it is. I tend to like to play kind of full cleary, I guess, aside from like Hammer basement and like the really egregiously bad stuff. But yeah, sometimes the Hammer is just in a really, really crappy place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to joke that this was the hammer hunt mode, but hadn't actually seen any bad hammers in a while. But there you go. There it is again for anyone that didn't believe.
If only Ice was a pendant, and then, well, actually, no, I wouldn't have been able to even basement clip, considering Lamp is probably hammerlocked at this point. So it would have been the. It would have been tempting to try to go for basement clip, but nope, you got to get the hammer anyway. It turned out that way.
That was another thing I was curious about, Bread, because I know Skele has done some basement clips in some vanilla runs, so I know Skele, at least I'm assuming you still know how to do it, but what about you, Bread? I didn't know if that was in your repertoire or not.
I've been practicing it, and I think I got it down pretty decently at this point. Not the fastest, but like, I mean, if it's go mode, then yeah, sure, I can go for it.
You could still do it without the lamp if you have a bottle, right? If you use the potion, get super speed.
No,
The problem
lamp
is the
to
visual
help you
lineup.
see.
Yeah, but you can use the fire rod to
that's
light the torches, which when you're select buffering the whole time, you're not actually spending that much time on the torch timer. I think that's doable. But obviously it's a little bit sketchier, because if you do run out of time, then you're just kind of screwed.
Well, you know, that was something that I had actually thought of, but I don't know if anyone's actually tried it, and I myself, and from most of the people I've seen, do not prefer to select buffer the whole thing, because select buffering is pretty annoying.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, there are a
Especially with
couple
the new
parts where
method.
yeah. Yeah, that's true, there is that. It just depends, but I don't know, it's just... Oh man, that just feels like a nightmare to select buffer every single input, and it is a little bit slower for sure, but if anyone knows, or if anyone has a video of someone, doing it with just the fire rod, I would be interested in that. I've never seen it or even heard of it, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was...
I think it's possible. It's even with select buffering, I feel like it'd still be kind of tight. Then you have to light it, run all the way down, then do the whole setup, and you'd probably have a little bit of a buffer window, but it wouldn't be huge.
Yeah, it depends how fast you are at select buffering and making sure you don't lose too much time in between the inputs and stuff. But yeah, I guess maybe we should be thankful that ice was a crystal, so that we didn't have to even attempt any of that nonsense.
Both of us sitting there on stream. Okay. One more try, trying to do this right.
Yeah, in theory, I could see it being possible. If all your buffers are either 0 or like 1 frame, or 2 frames for the ones where that's acceptable, then it seems like there would be enough time. It just really doesn't seem like anything anyone would want to do. And neither of you even had the fire rod when you were in pod the first time, so I was just like, well, that's not going to be a thing, but...
I guess it would also be annoying, like, if you did mess it up and you get like kicked out of the wall. Well, I guess if you have to get super speed with potions anyway, you really only have like a couple shots. But you'd also probably need to like wait out the torch timer and relight it, because there definitely wouldn't be enough time to do a second attempt on the same torch. I don't know. It sounds really cursed.
You could go to the other side and light it, but...
oh, that is very smart.
The problem
I feel like
with
I would
that
mess
is
up an
you can't
input.
take your turtle positions. Like, ideally, you'd want to stay on the right side if you're doing it with enemies.
Yeah.
And
I also
Bread
feel like
of
I would
No,
mess
you
up a
are,
buffer window with when like the first torch goes out, and like it pauses for a moment. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
so I was of note, I believe, unless I read the bracket wrong, you were the first person to take a game from Skele in the entire tournament, is what it appears to be.
I think
Skele
that's
was
right.
previously undefeated, which was and still is, frankly, super impressive. I mean, to be this deep and only lost one game, and yeah, there's still round 3, and for
Yeah,
whoever loses, there's still lower bracket finals.
I think I did the same thing to Gamachu as well, because he was also undefeated.
Well, Bread just ruining the winning streaks for a lot of people, and that's it's something to be proud of.
Well, it's nice we get another game because win or lose, we're both going to be waiting kind of a while
Oh yeah,
for whatever comes next. So yeah,
yeah.
I don't
We'll
mind playing
get
more HMG.
we'll get a couple weeks, and I mean, honestly, at that point, it might be close to SGL time too.
Yep.
I don't know.
I mean, some time off should be nice, right?
As long as I don't forget all the glitches. Yeah.
It'll come back probably.
Okay, well, congratulations again to Bread-kun and GG to Skele. Thank you both for playing. And do you guys have anything else you'd like to say about the seed or about the tournament?
It's GG's again. Thanks for the restream, everybody.
Yeah, jeez.
Okay, thank you very much to Other Tom for tracking. Very, very much appreciated. And just a glance at our schedule here. On Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, oh, an early one, we have Tam versus Krithel. And then 10 p.m. Eastern on the same day, Friday, September 26th, we have Mr. Beyer versus Spleeby, Game 2. Sunday, Tam versus Krithel, 3 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday, if necessary, will be the Game 3 between Tam versus Krithel, also at 3 p.m. Eastern. And that is all I have on the schedule for Hybrid Major Glitches. But I do not have a SpeedGaming schedule, so I'm sorry if anyone needs that. Alright, but that is going to do it for me today. Thank you everyone for watching. My name is JD.